Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today I am testing out 3 recipes that I found on TikTok, starting with this Katsu chicken with peanut sauce. So the first step in this recipe is to combine the ingredients for the marinade for the chicken, and that is just going to be some rice vinegar, soy sauce, honey, garlic powder, and some salt and pepper. And it's just really quick ingredients that you're going to throw together, and then it's going to be placed over your chicken, which I'm going to put into a Ziploc bag in the refrigerator to let it marinate. So whenever I'm testing a recipe, I do try to follow it pretty closely to how it's written. And in this video, she was talking about removing the tenderloins from the chicken breast, and then you want to pound it to about a 1/2 inch in thickness. So I did go ahead and do that. And I didn't have any plastic wrap, so I used some parchment paper, and I'm always going to do it with parchment paper. It was so easy to use to pound the chicken breast out. So again, you're just going to place that into a Ziploc bag with your marinade ingredients and let that refrigerate until you're ready to cook. So the last step for the chicken is just to do a 3-step breading process. So in one dish I have some flour. I did add salt and pepper to that, even though the recipe didn't call for it, because I believe that you should season every step. So you just want to coat that with the flour, and then it's going to go into the egg wash, which is just 1 egg that's been beaten, and then into a Panko mixture that has some salt and also some oil. And then this is going to go into the air fryer. I will have the recipe typed out below, and there is instructions on how to bake it in the oven if you don't have an air fryer, but I could not believe how quick and simple this was and how good it was. It was so crispy, and we're definitely going to be making chicken like this again in the air fryer soon. So once you place it into your air fryer basket, that's going to go in at 390 degrees for 8 minutes, and then you're going to flip it and then cook it for 2 minutes at 400. While the chicken is cooking, we're going to combine all of the ingredients for the peanut sauce. For the sauce, you're just going to combine coconut milk, peanut butter, soy sauce, brown sugar, a little bit more of the rice vinegar, and then some garlic powder and ginger. Now, I did not buy fresh ginger. I did use a kind that's in the squeeze bottle, and it worked out perfectly here. I love it because you can keep it in your refrigerator and use it when needed, because I don't cook a lot with ginger, but I'm excited to try some new recipes that have it. So you're just going to cook this on the stove and let it boil, whisk everything together, and just cook it until it thickens to your desired consistency. For all of these recipes, I will have a link in the description box below to the recipes, and then if there isn't a link to it, I do have everything typed out so you have all of the amounts of the ingredients, and then also a link to each of the creators' channels so you can see where these came from. Once the chicken comes out of the air fryer, you're just going to slice it. You can see that some of the breading was coming off a little bit, but honestly, it was so good that I don't even mind that it did. And I just served this with some rice. It would be really good with broccoli, which is how she served it that I saw on TikTok. I wish that I had some on hand, but here it is plated. You have to try this recipe. The second dish that we are making today is spicy shrimp with a creamy corn rice. The first step for this dish is just to combine all of the spices for the shrimp, and that's going to be some salt, chili powder, oregano, paprika, onion powder, and garlic powder. And then you're going to put this over your shrimp that's been peeled and deveined with a couple tablespoons of oil, and just toss that to combine, and just so it's well coated. To cook the shrimp, you just want to put it into an even layer in a hot pan. I did not add any butter or oil into the pan because we already have the oil on the shrimp. And you just want to let it cook for a couple of minutes on each side, flipping halfway through. So I'm really curious, if you watch TikTok, if you've seen any recipes that have caught your attention, whether or not you've tried them or you're wanting to try them. Please let me know in the comments down below if there has been anything that you've tried that you liked, or if you want me to try something new. Once the shrimp is cooked, I just removed it to a separate plate and then covered it with foil. And then to the pan, you're going to add in some butter, onion that has been diced, and a jalapeno that's been diced. So I'm not a huge fan of things that are too spicy, but this definitely was not, and my husband actually said that he could have used some more. So you can add more jalapeno depending on the spice level that you like. Once that's cooked down and softened, you're going to add in some garlic, let that cook for a minute, and then add in some corn. I used frozen corn, so I let that warm up in the pan, and then I added in some salt and pepper, and then you're going to add your rice in. You're just going to stir your rice in to combine, and then I'm going to let this cook for a couple of minutes before I add the liquid. The recipe originally uses basmati rice, but I had jasmine rice on hand and it worked out just fine. I just had to cook it a little bit longer than the recipe instructions. But once the rice is cooked for a couple of minutes, you're going to add in some vegetable broth and then some heavy cream. You're going to let this come up to a simmer and then cover it and let it cook, again, depending on the amount of time that the rice that you're using needs. I think it took for me about 15 to 18 minutes. And here is what the rice looked like once it was cooked. Oh my goodness, this rice is so good. Having like the heat from the jalapeno, the flavor of the corn, and then that cream mixture, oh my goodness, hands down, some of the best rice I've ever had. But you can go ahead and stop this here. I did go ahead and just cover it, turn the heat off, and left it for a few minutes before plating. And then this is what it looks like all put together. And the last TikTok recipe today is a churro pillow cake, and I have to thank my friend Jen for sending me this recipe. She saw it on TikTok and had tried it with her family and said it was really good, so I couldn't wait to give it a try, and it could not be any easier. So you're going to start out with a block of softened cream cheese, a third a cup of sugar, and about a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and you're just going to mix that all together. I just used my hand mixer. It was super quick and simple, just until it's smooth. Once that is combined, we are ready to assemble. Yes, you heard me, already ready to assemble. So you're just going to take a can of crescent rolls. I got the sheets so that way I didn't have to seal the perforations, but if you can't find the sheets, you can obviously get the regular kind, and you just want to pinch together where it's perforated. But you're going to put one of those cans in the bottom of a 13 by 9 inch pan. You do not need to grease it. And then you're going to put the cream cheese mixture on top of that and just spread it as evenly as you can across the bottom. Once you have that spread out, you're going to top with a second can of crescent rolls. And then to that, we're going to top it with a half of a stick of melted butter and then sprinkle it with some more sugar and cinnamon. Now the recipe calls for another third a cup of sugar to be sprinkled on top of this, and you're gonna see it looks like a lot. Like, it is definitely a lot of sugar when you're sprinkling it on top of here. But once I baked it, I understood it, because it's supposed to be like a churro pillow cake, so it had that like crunchy sugar taste like you get with a churro. So I think that's why there's so much that's on top of there. But I will say that it's not overly sweet because the amount of sugar in the cream cheese is not too much. So once you get everything together, it really is good. So this is going to bake in a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes. And then when you remove it, you want to let it cool for at least 10 minutes. And then you can slice it. You guys have to try this. It is so quick and easy and so delicious. Thank you so much for joining me in the kitchen today. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button before you go so you don't miss out on any future videos.